Hello everybody, this is Kiereek here. Today we're doing a review, part of the review and release series for Saints Row 3. Now, you might be wondering, what is Saints Row 3? Well, it's an open world, third person, GTA-like. And I don't know if I'm coining that term or if it already exists, but basically, a game that is similar to GTA in the fact that you go around shooting things, stealing cars in an open world environment. If you like Saints Row 2 or Saints Row 1, it's basically more of the same, but it is a lot more wacky. And by that I mean, they really went all out there. There's fucking zombies that you can play as a toilet. There's all sorts of shit that totally flies in the face. You'll never see that in Grand Theft Auto. Even though they are similar in gameplay, this game really takes it out there. The stuff from Saints Row 2 that was already a little weird, they took it and ran with it. Now the pros for the game, like I said, it's solidified its own niche basically in the GTA-like series. It is no longer just a GTA clone, it is its own kind of game. It is now separate from something like GTA. It is separate from other types of clones, something like Driver, for example, or Sleeping Dogs, or Watch Dogs, right? A lot of dog games. Anyway, it has its own thing, right? That wackiness that it coined and that it has embraced has really set it apart. I think that's a good choice if it wants to really stand out in that market. Now, many unique vehicles, not just cars. I appreciate that, especially after playing GTA 4. I like having jets. I like having motorbikes with fucking rockets on them. I like driving tanks around. I like driving like poop trucks that can spew poo everywhere. That's a neat idea, right? Lots of interactive vehicles. And even though they don't really have that feeling of speed with them, a lot of them, they are interesting to drive. They're not just, oh yeah, here's a Mustang. Oh yeah, here's a Camry. Now, I like the fact that they kind of continues the storyline from 2. Like, where in 2, you're kind of get out of jail, build back up, and get to the top. In this one, you're at the top, and there's a whole bunch of fucking competing games looking to take you down. Kind of the same idea. You have a couple different competing gangs. One at a time, you complete missions, and then slowly you eliminate them. And then there's also the overarching government control. I cannot for the life of me remember what the company was in Saints Row 2, but in Saints Row 3, it is STAG. Military force. Same kind of idea, though. Finally, I thought there's some really good creative scenes in this. Like I mentioned before, you get to play as a toilet for a short amount of time. Like, that's ridiculous. Like an animated toilet that goes around slapping people. You're in the Decker. That's part of the Decker's Die mission. And in that mission, you're basically in a virtual world. I thought that was neat. I like the mission where you get to fight the luchador guy. I think there's some really creative solutions. And I wish there had been more of that. I understand it can't be all that. But in those moments, I think this game really shined. I enjoyed it. Now, for the cons, the other times when it's not these missions that are really outstanding, it's repetitive kind of stuff. Go here, shoot a whole bunch of guys, blow up some stuff. Go here, drive this car, same old crap. And to me, that's not really that interesting, especially when I don't really seem to be able to travel very quickly. Like I said, the cars aren't that fast, and it's like, oh, this is 10 kilometers away. You're going to have to drive that mission. Fuck you. That's the most bullshit thing, and it's not fun. That's not fun. It's the same stuff again and again, and I wish there had been more to mix it up. The dialogue is interesting, even a little corny, but it's not enough to really keep you hooked. Now, the storyline in general, I felt it was more the same, even though there are set pieces which are very interesting. And action sequences, which I thought were really nicely done. The story's kind of just a copy and paste from Saints Row 2, right? Except it's starting at the bottom. This time you're starting at the top, and you're trying to fight people off. It's like there's no progression. In the beginning of the story, you have everything. And it's like, well, if you have everything already, what is there to gain? I mean, nothing. Basically, you can only lose at this point, and okay, let's talk about this gunplay. Gunplay, very similar to old Grand Theft Autos. Not a lot of oomph to it. I don't really like that kind of gunplay, but that's alright. There are some interesting weapons, which was good. Now, I want to talk about Johnny. Spoilers alert. If you haven't played the game and you care about the story, stop now. Okay, that was your option. Johnny dies, right? And of course, because there's a Johnny Gat out of hell kind of thing that they made a second spin-off with, but I don't really care about Johnny. Why should I? Yes, he was in the first 2 games. I mean, he's kind of the stereotypical asshole macho guy, but I don't really feel like they ever built an emotional connection to him. So when he dies, it's like, oh well. And that's how I feel like the story goes overall. Like, I don't really have emotional connection to any of the characters. Yeah, they're all assholes, and they have some funny quips and things like that, but it's not really enough to make me attached to them or interested in them, and I feel like that's a serious fault. Like, the characters are assholes. That's basically all it is. In the end, though, I don't want all the negative things from this that I said about this game to really dissuade you from playing it. It's worth playing. Like I said, it has its moments where I'm really, really fucking invested. Even not invested in the characters, but invested in, like, wow, that was a fucking sweet action sequence, or that was really creative, you know what I mean? I like those moments. For the score, gameplay, like I said, there are moments of greatness, and then there are moments of just mediocrity. And unfortunately, the mediocrity really brings it down, and it's those times that makes me want to put the game down. And so I'm going to give it a 1.5 out of 3. I think it is pretty much standard gameplay for the genre, nothing more. The addiction, I kind of saw it addicting at times, but again, it kicks you out, right? It kicks you out of the game immersively, because instead of doing another mission, it's like, oh, I have to drive all the way here? Or if you die, fuck me, I almost forgot to mention that. If you die on a mission, and some of the checkpoints are ridiculous. Like, I don't want to go all the way fucking back to the beginning. It took me like 20 minutes to get here. I mean, that's bullshit. Give me some fucking checkpoints. So, for the addiction, I'm only going to give it a 1 out of 2. For reliability, I actually never had a problem. There were a couple times it crashed on me, I think, but it's not a big deal, and I think that's more, I don't know. Who knows what kind of issue it is, but I don't think it was necessarily the game's issue. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 1. For atmosphere, give it a 1 out of 2. It does build up the atmosphere of you being a big gangster, pimp type person. You can tell I'm not that when I talk about it. But I don't know, it's also so silly you kind of lose that. Can you really be considered a big, like, cool guy, badass, and you're swinging around a big pink dildo, bashing people's heads in with it? I don't know. For replay value, I'm going to give it a 1.5 out of 2. There's replay value here. I mean, open world games in general, replay them. You can play a whole bunch and never end. Just dick around if you're that kind of person. But for me, it's not 100% perfect. You know, I need someone to compel me, and a lot of the little side quests, I don't care about getting 100% control out of all the zones. Fuck that. Who cares? So I have to give it a 1.5 out of 2. The total score, that means, is a 6 out of 10. Yeah, not a bad game. Not a great game. It's kind of just, you know, it's there. If you're a fan of that kind of humor and that kind of gameplay, you might like it. And if you're not, then you're probably going to have a bit of a grind. So thanks for watching, everybody. There's also a gameplay video up for this game, Saints Row 3. So check that out. In the meantime, thanks for watching again, and I'll see you all again soon.
Wow. So, guess that's a wrap.